Good Friday. This is the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing. This Friday, October 7th. We are no longer doing our daily fire weather potential briefings that we do during fire season. We're in the off season, so these briefings are geared more towards planning for burn projects and overall weather conditions, and will be issued both on Mondays and Fridays. So let's start off with a look at how much precipitation we've had recently. In the past 14 days, you can see those areas in the green, half inch or more, and actually even in the bluish, dark blue shades, a quarter inch or more, and those going into the green, is where we've basically had our season-ending rain events. But you can also see areas across southwest Idaho and into western Nevada which have had very little, if any, rainfall. And in those areas, we're starting to see some light fire activity, a couple dozen acres in some fires. One fire has exceeded 100 acres in this portion of Idaho here in the southwest. So some areas are still too dry to burn. Other areas across central and eastern Idaho and into Wyoming and a good portion of Utah, fuels are definitely ready. In some cases, maybe a little too moist. You can see the percent of precipitation on the right-hand side during the past 2 weeks. So looking at weather conditions for today, even though we have a broad ridge of high pressure covering much of the Great Basin into California, above it there's a layer of mid-level moisture with clouds, maybe some sprinkles, especially into parts of the mountains of central Idaho. Under this high pressure ridge, especially across Nevada into parts of western Utah, the areas in red are areas of poor overall dispersion, both vertically and horizontally. The best dispersion will be areas further north, up into Idaho, or anywhere where you see the white shading. Looking at the individual components on the left, transport winds very light in these grayish areas across Nevada and parts of Utah. The best transport winds coming out of the southwest across parts of central Idaho. And on the mixing heights vertically, again, the worst or lowest mixing heights across parts of Nevada and western Utah. The best mixing heights, these yellows and oranges, anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 feet across the higher terrain of Idaho. So let's look at tomorrow, and a similar pattern. The high pressure builds. We're going to be in a pretty good warming trend, warming up quite a few degrees from today, which is warmer than what we had yesterday. There'll be some clouds in our far northern areas, but partly to mostly sunny areas further to the south, except across the far southern areas of the Arizona Strip in Utah. Some moisture coming in, can't rule out a chance of a few light showers. The best dispersion here on the right-hand side will be in the white shaded areas. The worst will be in the reddish and purple shades. And we can break that down individually again. You can see the transport winds on the left, the gray shades across western Utah and parts of Nevada will be the lowest transport winds, across Idaho the strongest. And again, vertical mixing poor across northwest Utah, parts of western Nevada, a bit better as you see the yellows and oranges. Now for Sunday, we see this front tightening up and this moisture deepening across northern Idaho and into parts of Washington. That's in response to this next low that's dropping down into the Pacific Northwest. This could actually push this moisture further south as we go into early next week. And ahead of that front, you can see much more in the way of white, so better overall dispersion on Sunday, restricted to only in those areas in the red. And on Sunday, you see overall the wind starting to pick up out of the southwest, even across parts of Nevada. Strongest again up in Idaho. Vertical mixing starting to get better as well. A lot more yellows and oranges on the map, 3,000 to 5,000 feet of mixing above the ground level. And here specifically for Utah, we have the clearing index, which shows the darker colors are less clearing or less ventilation. The yellow to red shades indicates better overall dispersion. So you see the trends we go towards Sunday, especially Sunday, a significant improvement in overall ventilation and dispersion as we go in time. And precipitation the next 3 days, just a little bit up into the northern mountains of central Idaho. Otherwise, we stay mostly dry, except for some of that stuff that's coming into southern Utah. So overall, dry for the next 3 days. So as we go into early next week, that trough of low pressure pushes that moisture that you see in the green down into southern Idaho, into parts of a good portion of Nevada and Utah. Precipitation, though, fairly light, but this typically brings good overall dispersion. You see the ventilation really good. Almost everybody's in the white, so no dispersion problems on Columbus Day. As we go into Tuesday, on the maps, Again, on the right, no overall dispersion problems. We're still in the midst of this trough of low pressure with some residual moisture, maybe some scattered showers or light sprinkles where you see the green, but nothing too heavy. Then as we go into Wednesday, the moisture pools up here a little bit. We see another trough of low pressure approaching. Ventilation overall pretty good. And then on to Thursday, a stronger front with moisture and significant rains and mountain snows plows into the Pacific Northwest and starts to approach Idaho as well. But with storm systems approaching, our overall ventilation remains quite good. Precipitation as we go through days 4 and 5. This is basically from Wednesday night through actually Monday night through Wednesday night. We're seeing overall fairly dry initially, but then as we go into the latter part of next week into Thursday and Friday, we are seeing that significant amount of wintertime rain and snow, maybe 5-6 inches of rain and snow across the Cascades, starting to spill over into the mountains of Idaho with over an inch or so, and some of that could be snow, so we'll see how that goes. Starting to approach western Nevada as well. Our extended outlook for the 8 to 14 day period from October 14th to the 20th, temperatures will be on the warmer than normal side, but precipitation getting wetter, especially across western and northern areas for that time period. This concludes our briefing. We'll be closed this Monday, Columbus Day, so our next briefing will be this coming Tuesday. Have a great weekend.